how do you consider someone an overweight?
So there is
Why?
a formula. You do weight divided by height squared. Okay, so there is a formula that can tell you that you're overweight or you're underweight, and it's based on studies that tell you your weight to your height.
فينا هلا نشوف لو أنا overweight.
Yeah.
طب شو لازم نعمل؟
Give me a calculator.
خايف يكون
Are you
underweight.
sure you want to do this?
Yes. I want to see if I.
But listen, I don't love this.
أنا ما بيأثر.
Okay, what's your weight in kilos?
خايفين نقول.
يلا.
80.
No, okay. You gotta be honest.
Last time I checked 86.
Okay, 86 divided by أديت ولا؟
muscles هول 178 مظبوط. مظبوط.
86 divided by 1.78 divided by 1.
حطلع بس overweight.
1.78 divided by 1.78 equal 27. So you are يعني you are so
ماهر شو عم تنزل على الجيم هالايام؟
ليك صراحة هالفترة أبداً ما عم بنزل.
لا قلت لي خلص بدك تنضبط.
ما أنا مع هاي المشكلة أول ما يقطع شهرين.
ما تقفي.
أول ما يقطع شهرين ما بعرف شو بصير معي بدي أشتغل على الشيء بس إن شاء الله سون بدي أرجع لأنه مرقت فترة كنت عم بنزل وكتير أثرت positively بحياتي و it's something that you should have in your life in order to
ضروري.
discipline you know. أنت
ما بعرف لو قلتها أنا على البودكاست قبل بيجي بيقول لي exercising مثل الأكل والشرب.
لا ما قلتها انت قايل easy does it
من هيدي واحدة تانية. الاكسرسايزنج مثل الأكل والشرب دايما يعني it should be part of your everyday life. هلا obviously مش كل يوم حط وقت بس انه لازم تنتبه.
بس بحياته ما حدا verified بحياتي ما انه ما عملت هيدا الكونفو with an expert اللي فيه إلا عن جد شو اعمل.
هلا جايينا
عن جد كيف عن جد
بتفاجئ مش عارفة. Perfect. اليوم معنا guest I'm very happy to have with us. I'm sure she has amazing information that she'll be able to convey to our audience. She has her own podcast that definitely we'll be talking about, has helped many people throughout her career. Baraa El Sabbagh, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, guys. This is very exciting.
نحن super excited to have you. I'm super excited for all of the information you're about to provide. So first, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
All is well?
All is great.
Sorry أخرناكي.
No problem. Happens, I understand. Video, هيدا,
ما الحق علينا الحق على فيشاي. This is Vishai's fault we're late. No worries.
All your fault.
But to get right to it, I would like for you to give هيك more of a background. مين براء؟ كيف بلشت براء؟ يعني كيف براء وصلت لبراء اليوم؟ يعني just a bit about yourself if you can.
Big question. So I'm Baraa El Sabbagh. I am a dietitian. I studied dietetics in university. I'm also a personal trainer. I got certified personal training while I was studying nutrition. لأنه they kept talking about the importance of exercise while we were in nutrition school, but you don't really learn anything about exercise or what's right or what's wrong or how much or what's the right one to lose weight and what's the right, like all that important stuff. So at the same time, while I was studying nutrition, I went ahead and I got my personal training certificate and my sports nutrition certificate as well. And I was always, I'm a true foodie. I always really loved food. Didn't always eat healthy, but nutrition really did the shift for me when I learned, what is the impact of food? What is the impact of exercise? And since then, this huge passion of mine grew in university and I went ahead, I opened a few businesses, a few ideas, very entrepreneurial. My dad's very entrepreneurial, so is my mom, my whole family is. So it's very natural to go into opening my own little business with my friends and then just growing and going with the flow from then and then just learning along the way.
Amazing. Thank you for that background. يعني حكيتي على كذا موضوع obviously.
Yeah.
وقلتي انه you're a foodie up until now.
Yeah.
هلا بدك تخبرينا كيف فودي وفتنس بنفس الوقت. كتير difficult.
بالعكس, it makes so much sense because I feel like there is this misconception, if you exercise or you eat healthy or you're a dietitian, you don't like burgers or you don't like pizza or you don't like these things, whereas you're human. I grew up just like you, I ate cornflakes with sugar and that's how I grew up.
Nutella sandwiches.
All of that, so I love that. It's in me. It's it's how we grew up, and I'm human, so it's not that you go in school and you just become robotic. You're like, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. No, there's leeway to just enjoy food. And I really believe in, I've spoken about this so many times, the 80-20 principle, which is 80% of the time, I eat super healthy. I choose really wholesome ingredients, greens, vegetables, fibers, whole grains, lean protein, salmon, avocado, nuts, olive oil. Those are really important. 20% of the time, we have to live a little. We have to have fun, right? So that's when the burgers come in, the fries come in. I discovered I love ice cream last summer, and I'm obsessed, So it's just about finding ways to put it in your life, but don't let it take over everything, So it's a little bit of balance. And it takes a little bit of time to find your balance, but it exists. You just have to be patient, and you find a way for fitness and a bit of
that's how life should be in general. 80-20.
Exactly. Sure. And even if you travel, let's say I'm gonna go to Italy, I'm not, that's where I was in May actually. I'm not gonna not eat pasta or tiramisu or pizza at I'm gonna have them because it's joy, it's food, it's created with love, and so you do that, but at the same time I work out in the morning, and then my next meal is something that's really healthy. So I just balance it out in that way.
نفس وقتها ما تحرم حالك من الأكل اللي بتحبه. It also motivates you كرمال to go harder on fitness.
Yeah, 100%. لأنه the more you, مثل ما بيقولوا بالعربي الممنوع مرغوب. So it's if you're gonna restrict yourself, you're just gonna want it more. You're just gonna want it. Whereas if you give yourself a little bit of leeway to have this, بالعكس, it's gonna be it's not a big deal. It's just fries,
Has Baraa always been like this? من childhood كيف كانت نفس الشيء، مش بس in terms of أكل، إنه كيف كانت براء هي وصغيرة؟ كانت كمان هالfitness person? Was she outgoing هي وصغيرة؟
Good question. I feel we should have my mom, a few people in here.
Definitely, we can mention how it was كمان مع العائلة، مع siblings. أنا بدي أعرف we're definitely gonna get to the parts about nutrition, fitness. بس بدي أعرف أكتر مين براء، كيف كانت childhood تاعيتها؟
Yeah, so my childhood, I would say I grew up in Lebanon, moved to the US for 5-6 years, my teenage years. In Lebanon, there was no focus on good food and bad food, but I can tell you that I didn't like salads for a very long time. My mom would always make a salad. I wouldn't want it. I used to like the liye and the soda, when you have liver.
Yes.
That's what I used to eat. I didn't used to eat this. So I was like that as a child. As a teenager, I was a little bit on the overweight side even. And I used to love a lot of peanut butter and crackers. So I was a really hearty kid. And that's because there wasn't a lot of education back then, but it was just free and whatever. You just eat. And then eventually I found my way through. As a child, I used to just enjoy being when we used to go to the Jabal in the mountains in Lebanon, just being a child, throwing rocks, playing outside, doing whatever, just having just a very natural childhood, I would say. So yeah, what other questions do you have?
أنا بعد بدي فوت شوي personal بعدين حاعطي
يلا.
طب a sad moment بركي
a sad
from your childhood.
Damn.
وليد بحب
أنا
sad moment.
Were people ready for this?
ما أنا دايما هيك أنا فوت أديب بيعرفني ماهر بقول لي ماهر خلص بزيادة وليد طفيت لي قلبي بس I like to get to know people and to make it real.
A sad moment. I would really need to think about this. Akid, there's many sad moments. I think sad moments are when I feel people are fighting, or there's feuds in the family, or there's that kind of aggression going on. I feel those are usually the saddest moments for me as a child. I think those are usually really rough to witness, because it's you're watching the people you love fight and you're what is happening,
You're a kid,
Hey, and I think that's usually a very sad moment.
And has she مثلا impacted you in any bad way or good way maybe?
I think you just learn that like this is life and this happens and you just find your way through. Badly, it scares you. You start like being scared of fights. You start avoiding conflicts. You don't like that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you learn and know really this is life and you just gotta find your way through. Right, I made Walid very sad and he's like oddly happy about it. He's like,
please talk more.
What's going on, Walid? Let's talk about you.
Whenever you want. هلا بنجي على البودكاست هيك بنحكي عنها as much as you want. تبع happy moment إذا بدنا نقلب the coin, let's say.
Happy moments.
هيك very happy moments شغلة بتتذكريها بتنبسطي فيها.
كهايلايت.
It's really simple moments.
Very
as
simple.
a child, really like how
هلا زي الوليد فكر بتقولي لنا شيء
he's like, oh man. As a child, I think just being literally in the streets, like playing around with my cousins, with our friends, with our neighbors, in the mountains, in the summer, like amazing. I think those are the happiest moments. And when like all of our family is all around, like we have our cousins from Saudi, we have our, friends from everywhere are just huddled up in like this 2 building with all of the family there. We do barbecues and all of that for the summer. I think those are like the happiest.
من أي ضيعة؟
I'm from Jnoub, but like we used to stay in the Jabal, like Suq al-Gharib.
Suq al-Gharib.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Next to Ale, so it was fun. And then we'd go to Ale and it was like happening at the time.
أنا كنت صيف بعلي كمان.
Yeah, it was happening.
Yeah.
Now it's not happening, but before it's happening.
Unfortunately.
ما في شيء happening, unfortunately تحت.
Baraa, you mentioned that you were a little bit overweight when you were younger.
Right.
I just wanted to know how much did this have like of an impact on you growing up, and when did you like flip the switch to become like this health aware and like Baraa today?
Yeah, so I think that it doesn't have a great impact when you're a child and you're overweight and you hear that you're overweight or like بدك تضعفي or هيدا or كروش or whatever. I think those can have some negative annoying connotations, and like if people are going through that now, I totally feel with them. And I think that's the good thing for me, is that like I can have empathy with someone who is going through that and I can help them through these phases. But I think it's annoying regardless. You don't really feel like being overweight and being kind of picked on in that way. Not that I was picked on a lot, but you're just kind of uncomfortable in your body, in yourself. And then I don't know, so I was in the US when I really started gaining weight just because of
the food in the States.
What? I don't even know what I was eating.
What state again?
I was in Michigan.
Yeah.
For like 6 years, and it was like so common for the kids to like at time for lunch, for everyone to like run to the cafeteria, like we're hungry like crazy kids. And then we get like this crazy bread, which is basically butter and garlic, and you dip it in like cheese, and like mac and cheese is like the main meal. Like it was catastrophic and it wasn't healthy. Nothing was healthy. So it was like that on repeat. I used to play a little bit of sports. So I used to be in a swim team. I used to be in a track team for a little bit. And مثلا after the swimming, you go home, you get like a pizza, a large pizza. That's what everybody eats, خلص, it becomes the norm. Who can eat more? It was like that kind of competition. So I did gain. The guys are like, damn, are you sure this is you? Yeah, it was like a really big switch. So when I came back to Lebanon for the last 2 years of school, the food changed naturally. طبخ.
I love طبخ.
It's so good, right? So it was just naturally that we're eating healthier food. I'm not baking pizza all the time. I'm not running like a crazy kid at lunch to get crazy bread with like garlic and butter. So naturally my body started shifting. I just became a little bit healthier. And then it was really nutrition school that took me to the next level. So when I went to AUB, when I went to university and I learned a lot more, that's when I understood this is what this food does. There's this benefit. And I like doing good for myself. I'm that kind of person. I'm like, this is the place where I'm going to be living for the rest of my life. So I'm going to take care of it, right? And so when I learned the different foods that are going to do me good, I just try to incorporate them more in my life. And so that's when a lot of the switch happened.
Yeah, definitely. That's very interesting to me, but I'm even more interested to know if that took like a toll on your mental health.
I think I think it was okay. Like I passed through it. Like it didn't affect me that much. I think there was annoying times, annoying phases, annoying words that you hear from people, which I'm sure everyone relates to. But I think maybe it becomes more difficult now when you have a certain standard you need to keep up, and then you gain a little bit of weight and then you hear something. I think that's when things can be a little bit more traumatizing, or you're like, oh my God, I don't feel like dealing with this. But no, as a child, I don't think it was that traumatizing. I think I had a supportive family regardless, to help me through these things. And then coming out as a child, sometimes you don't think about it that much, right? Like if not a lot of people are putting a lot of pressure on you, then you just you grow out of it. Like and your body changes as you become a woman, or you become like a boy, a man. So I think just things naturally change over time. So I wouldn't think, you guys are really trying to get some juice out of me today. You're like, trauma. Tell us about your trauma.
Well, I just like to get to know someone. That's it.
I'm happy to keep sharing.
But I'm glad it didn't take a toll on your mental health like other cases. So basically what I can conclude, or
no, I never had
you got picked on, or like you were very aware of your weight, and that's why like you were like over motivated to like train and هيدا. But I think it was like very casual, if I could say. I think that's it affects the mental health is someone like, at least I don't know, doesn't
it does. Listen, if there's people around you that are going to be pressuring you, if you have bullies in school, if you feel like sometimes if you have a big family and you have aunts that are like very picky, or uncles that are very picky, people comment on the table, don't eat this, don't eat that, ما تاكلي هيك نصحانة ما تعملي. I think this is traumatizing, and I think this could lead to eating disorders and disordered eating. So هول المشاكل. Alhamdulillah, I never went through that, but I can definitely understand that it could have that impact. But no, I didn't. I did have motivation to really work hard after university on my body, on my skills, on me as a human being. And that's just because I'm very passionate, I'm very driven. And that I think comes from my family, from seeing how hard my dad works, how hard my mom works at work and everything that they do. And so I just want to excel as well. So I want to work hard at the gym. I want to be the best. I want to be the strongest. So that's where a lot of my drive comes from, not necessarily to just prove people wrong against body shape, you know?
You mentioned your family a lot.
Yeah.
خلي لك إياهم كلهم.
Thank you.
What was the relationship with your family? With your mother, father, your brothers, ما بعرف.
I have one brother, younger than me, but everyone thinks he's older than me, and he takes on the role of older brother. علي وعلى أختي. My sister is older than me, 3 years. Her name is Mirna. A lot of people know her. She's also a dietitian, and she has a great following on social media as well, and she educates moms and parents and all of that. We're in the same field. Me, my brother, and my sister used to fight a lot as kids. كنت دايما تدلها شعرها لميرنا أقعد على علي. I was a very aggressive little child with my siblings, and they still haunt me on these until now. My dad, for a while I didn't like him because he used to travel a lot, so I used to hate men. Like, why is he here? He used to go to China, and he used to travel all over in Italy and all of that, because he was an entrepreneur at the time, and he still is. So yeah, my mom was always there to be with us and to support us through our childhood, and then eventually she was also working with dad and all of that.
Hello.
So yeah.
So you were close to them while you were very close to them.
And still I grow closer to them now. I think now that I moved to Dubai and I just live with my husband, my sister lives in Dubai, which is great. But Dubai, as much as I love it and I'm so grateful to be here in the Middle East, I think it's one of the best places to be. But you don't feel the connection of family the same way. I don't have my family here. My dad and my brother are in the US, my mom's in Lebanon. So I can't wait until the summer until we come together, No, actually we meet in the US mainly. Because coming out Lebanon is making it a little bit more difficult.
Tabu Baraa, what's the most important thing in life, you would say? It could be anything.
In life, I think most importantly is to accept yourself. Accept where you are, accept everything that you're going through, because I think that's the secret to happiness.
And that's the most important thing to you?
Yeah.
what you share
Acceptance.
العالم to accept themselves no matter what.
It's not just accepting yourself, it's about being also content with yourself. You know what I mean? Like تكون مرتاح مع حالك with the things that are going on around you, because I think that's the secret to happiness. I think once you accept things, it's when you're actually happy. But when you're just constantly, I'm not saying you accept to you settle. I'm not saying settling for what is. يعني settling إنه خلص, like this is
what
it.
it is.
It is what it is. No, work hard for everything that you want to do, but also accept where it is now, and then trust that you're going to be going to better and bigger.
And what do you
places.
think of love as some of the most important things in life?
I think you can't live without love. No, I don't think there's a life without love. I think love is what nurtures you, what makes you human. I think love allows you to be the best version of you. I feel when you feel loved, you can give so much to the world. So yeah, I think it's integral.
100%.
Yeah, is love the most important thing to you?
Love is very important. And is it the most important thing to me? I think it's what keeps me going in life. Yes.
Okay.
So like وأنا I'm a people's person يعني ما بموت لواحد والله يحبني أو أخذ رضاه، بس إنه في هول العالم بالحياة يعني إذا زعلتهم إنه في مشكلة فيه يعني لازم زبطها. فلا love is one of the most important things in life.
What's the most important thing for you, man?
I think I like it.
Yeah.
I think of course love is like a very huge part of things that I value in life, but I think what comes before love is loyalty, because you can always love someone but not be loyal. Like loyalty is the action, you know. Loyalty is the action.
Go through some things.
But no, because there's a song that I know, and like, you know, when the lyrics of like one song stick in your head and be like, what am I hearing right now?
Yeah.
So I listened to this lyric like a long time ago, and خلص like مثل بقولوا باللبنان تحطيه حلقة ببينتك.
Right.
You know, like look, you can love someone but still stab them in their back. So if I have your loyalty and I don't show you love, at least you know that I got your back.
Yeah.
You know?
I think loyalty is a beautiful like characteristic and trait to have.
يعني بس بصير يطلب في موفي ما بعرف ايه هو بيمثل فيه دانزل واشنطن. أنا صراحة شفت على تيك توك كنت عم نزل for you page، شفت واحدة من السنيبتس بفيلم يعني عنده ابن، وابنه came up to him he's like why don't you like me dad؟
بيي بعت لي اياها.
ايه بعت لك اياها، وبيقول له دانزل بالفيلم هيدا انه I don't have to like you، انه انا بيك مزبوط بس انه I don't have to like you، I need to feed you, I need to raise you, I need to put you in the right direction، بس انه مني متطرح.
never mind دايما بعت لي اياها.
اوكي منيح ما بعت لك اياها بس انه لا to showcase the point انه بركي الحب يعني مثل ما ماهر عم بيقول الحب بركي العالم مش انه اساس، يعني في شيء تاني بيجي قبل. فلنمشي على سيرة الحب.
You said Baraa انه the most important thing in life for you is to accept yourself. But if there was one thing you would change about yourself, what would it be?
I think I'm so grateful for my perfectionism, but also it can really stop me from like moving forward sometimes because I need things to be perfect. So maybe lessen my perfectionism.
Lessen your perfectionism.
Yeah.
Which is a good transition to my next question. And that is, what do you fear the most?
What do I fear?
Not being perfect.
What do I fear the most, like generally in life?
What's your deepest fear? Maybe it didn't happen yet. مش انه it doesn't have to be a spider or something.
I think it's very easy for me to say it's probably death.
Death?
Yeah.
You're scared of death.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, guys. Let's move on now.
خلص نقلب شوي أكتر على nutrition part, you know, and هون تعرفنا شوي أكتر عليك. Were you always set on this career path? يعني من high school كان بدك تفوتي dietitian بالجامعة وتصيري fitness trainer وترجعي تصيري podcaster?
No, for sure not. No, I just knew that I wanted to do my own thing. I felt like I always wanted to do something that's like really cool. But I never thought I was a 9-to-5er. يعني حتى my husband tells me, he's like, I can't ever imagine you in like a 9-to-5 kind of thing at all, which is true. I have no idea how I would even be. But I thought about being a lawyer for a while. I thought about being an interior designer. I thought about being several things. And I don't know, then when I was applying for university and nutrition was there, I'm like, that's interesting, because nutrition was something everyone was always talking about. Every time you're at food, someone's talking about like food, this benefit, that, هيدي منيحة, you know. So I was just very curious because I didn't know about nutrition. So I wanted to learn more about it. Where was I gonna go with it? ما كتير there was a plan, to be honest. I was just like, okay, this is what I want to learn about right now. This is what I'm gonna do.
Hello. And you opened up your business in Lebanon. You started as an entrepreneur. ما كنت بديك 9 to 5. How was that experience? It was called Healthy Happy Us.
Right.
شو صار فيها? Are you still working on it?
Yeah.
What was one of the key learnings of working on your own business?
Yeah. So I opened Healthy Happy Us with my 2 partners at the time who were with me in university as well. And we used to always do projects together. We excelled at them. We were best friends. They were my bridesmaids. We had that whole thing, yani. We were super close. And we still are. And there was a lot to learn from that. Like, we constructed the place. We put the thing, we did the design, we brought it in from zero, which was beautiful. And so I learned how a business works from absolute scratch, which was so helpful for me just as a person to learn about how like business works without going to business school, you know? And I learned the responsibility that comes behind it. And I learned a different level of professionalism that comes with opening your own space, being your own entrepreneur, being the owner, being the face of it. Unfortunately, we had to close it because after being 3 years in Lebanon and we operated, there was a ceiling that we couldn't break through. And that was when there was a lot of problems starting to happen in Lebanon. I also got married and moved to Dubai at the time. And I tried to continue working from there. But it was very hard to do long distance business work. يعني, for a place that's a physical place. يعني, can show clients. I used to be a PT there. I used to be a dietitian. And to run the place was just almost impossible. يعني, we were hitting ourselves with like a hammer on the foot. يعني, it wasn't sustainable. We really tried because we were so passionate about it. So we did have to close it, but it was an amazing journey. I feel like that was the perfect way for me to start my career. And there was so much that, yani, positive things that really came out of it. And a lot of highlights came out of it. So I was very grateful for it.
Amazing.
I guess everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Agreed. During your time, did you have like an idol while growing up, someone you looked up to? And it could be a celebrity, someone very simple, someone in your family. حدا يعني أنا مثلا I looked up to while I was seeking consulting, a job in consulting. I used to look up to my best friend.
Right.
يعني كنت أشوف إنه exactly
يعني
حبيبي لا مهضوم يعني هو he got into consulting. I saw the achievements he was making and I wanted to do the same.
Cool.
مش out of envy لا بس إنه he aspires me, you know.
Yeah.
From anyone هيك كمان
I would say 2 things. I would say that my dad always inspired me with how much he would just keep going, and he changed like 70,000 businesses and like did 70,000 things, but the man just keeps going. So very inspirational in the aspect of just, you know, just keep going and just you'll figure it out, and there's a risk with everything, but go full in every single time. So that was very inspiring to me. But in terms of like an idol, I don't think I have an idol, but I look up to really strong women within my industry, within fitness. And so thanks to social media, it just made these things a little bit more visible. Like I would see someone in the West Coast in the US and I'd be like, oh my God, I love what she's doing. She's like a total boss, you know, and they have like this huge company. So it was different people along the road. There isn't one specific one, I would say, but that's what kind of keeps me super motivated. Like to see the potential and the possibility is like, yes, that's, you know, there's so much to grow and so much to do, and I'm just going to keep going and I'll figure it out along the way.
Is there one woman you can name and you look up to potentially? You look up a lot of women. You look up to many women in your industry.
Honestly, there are many, so it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be fair to just say that one person.
Okay,
But I really like Katrina Scott on social media. She's a mom now and stuff like that. So it's cool to see how her business has transitioned over time and the things that she's doing and with the success. So it's cool.
Amazing.
لا بحس كتير كول لأنه especially her audience يعني بيكونوا متابعينها from when she was single بعدين
right.
how she became a mom.
It's really cool. I think that's the power of social media, which is so cool.
Now
You would know. You would know.
I really love it. Yeah.
So speaking of social media,
Right.
other than you being like a full-time nutritionist, fitness trainer, you're also kind of an influencer and a podcaster.
She is an influencer, not kind of an influencer.
She is, but like I want to talk a bit about like if first of all, am I missing anything?
A podcaster. I'm also an Adidas athlete.
Adidas ambassador.
Yeah.
How did you get that? The
did I
Adidas
get
ambassador. If you can disclose.
So with Adidas, it was honestly very natural. Just like with many brands that I collaborated with, different brands, they ask you to come and do photo shoots, they ask you to do a post or a reel, etc., and they pay you for that. Over time with Adidas, I was doing that, and our work together was always really nice. And so eventually they reached out for a longer term like contract and agreement, and so it just naturally happened. So I think it's part of having a connection with the people that you're working with, and delivering well and showing up professionally to these things, I think really helps with it. But other than that, you'd have to ask Adidas how they select these things.
We have to go through their
خلاص هلا
process.
بنحكيهم بعد الشو دغري.
But is that you weren't anything from the stuff that
List.
I mentioned,
Yeah.
from the huge list.
Yeah.
What would you be?
I like two things.
I'm all ears.
I really like dancer. Like I would really like to be a dancer for fun. Like for fun. Like just to dance life away.
مثل ما ياس بركي أو شيء.
They're really cool.
They're amazing.
Oh my God, that was just mind-blowing. So
Yeah.
it gave me goosebumps every time I would watch them. And then, but no, definitely not their type of dancing. That's not what I would do. But also I really like interior design.
That sounds cool.
And I just love watching shows like Home Makeover. Oh my God, obsessed. I love seeing something like completely torn down and then in 3 seconds it's like fixed. So I really like that kind of makeover.
Definitely. براء لننقل عن nutrition شوي of things حكينا عن الكارير. السؤال اللي بينسأل كتير. How do I lose weight?
Wallah, it's so easy. Honestly,
It's so easy.
You know what? It's very...
أنا نصحان يا أمي.
You know what? It's simple, but not easy. That's what I should say. That it's a simple formula, but to actually do it, you need a lot of willpower, you need determination, you need motivation, internal, من جوا. You need to want to do it. مش إنه يعني فينا أعطيك a meal plan, فينا أعطيك calories, macros, and all of that, but it's you have to do the work. I'm not going to do the work for you. So to lose weight, I think number one, you have to have the want, desire, determination, and willpower to do the work for it. But other than that, it's a calorie deficit. يعني بدك تاكل أقل مما أنت بتحرق بشوي مش بكتير. And two, it's great if you exercise.
It's great if you exercise. طب
Does that make is this gibberish to you guys? Or
لا it makes
it makes sense.
لا, of course.
Yeah.
makes sense.
مثل ما what you said, it's like simple, but
It
it's
needs
not
commitment.
easy لأنه في كذا شيء ورا.
Yeah.
بس how أول شيء how do you determine if you're overweight? Like أنا I'm considered overweight.
منك overweight.
بلا بيقولوا بلا إذا
منك
بروح هلا
overweight.
عند dietitian بتقول لي أنا overweight قلت لها لا مني overweight
منك.
قلت لها مني overweight
بتعرفي.
عشان ولا ما بتعرف طبعا.
أنا بقول لك yeah. That's how my dad is.
بس إنه how do you consider someone an overweight?
So there is
Why?
a formula. You do weight divided by height squared. Okay, so there is a formula that can tell you that you're overweight or you're underweight, and it's based on studies that tell you your weight to your height.
فينا هلا نشوف لو أنا overweight.
Yeah.
طب شو لازم نعمل؟
Give me a calculator.
أنا خايف يكون
Are you
underweight.
sure you want to do this?
Yes I want to see if I
But listen, I don't love this.
أنا ما
method.
بيأثر ما
Okay,
بيأثر.
what's your weight in kilos?
خايفين نقول
يلا.
80.
Don't. Okay,
قول.
you gotta be honest.
Last time I checked 86.
Okay, 86
أكيد overweight.
divided by قد طولك؟
muscles هول 178 مظبوط
ما بعرف.
178 مظبوط
1.6 divided by 1.78 divided by 1.
حطلع بس
divided by
overweight
1.78 divided by 1.78 equal 27. So you are يعني you are so basically the number who
it's fine بس
طلعت غلطان وليد.
do you want to pause like
لا go ahead
so basically the number between 25 and 29.9 or something like that is an overweight range.
وأنا قد إيه
27.
يا حبيبي
Like you're like right there, you know, but this isn't great because imagine that you are 86 kilos, okay, but 86 kilos of muscle. وعملت نفس equation أنا هلا حتضلك مبين overweight,
مزبوط
right? So this is not great. بس إنه كمان الواحد بيعرف حاله. Am I mainly muscle or am I?
أنا عضلات برو
So this is one way to know. Another way is to do like a body composition test, like the machine test. بيبين شوي الفات أكتر. But I think what's most important, Walid, is to sort of just analyze, are you comfortable with yourself or not? And what do you want to do about it? Is it affecting your health negatively? Is your cholesterol not good? Is your blood results not good? Yani, are you at risk of health diseases, سكري, diabetes, heart disease, blood pressure?
Yeah.
Like if it's going to affect your health negatively in that way, then this is when we should be doing something about it. I think that's what's most important.
أنا يعني
Not just
أول شيء
physique,
the first point self acceptance أنا the reason why I discuss it here is because يعني it doesn't impact me at all.
Go Walid, yes.
But and the second point اللي هي الهيلث that's what impacts me and impacts my behavior. لا الحمد لله يعني the last time I checked all is perfect, all is good. بس I am always aware that I need to be careful. يعني I'm aware that انه لازم انتبه وحسن شوي كيف عم باكل.
انت you're aware to sustain your fitness. Baraa, how can you build a strong foundation to sustain your fitness?
I think it's doing things that you enjoy and doing things that you love. So don't do something that you don't like just because your friend is doing it. So let's say he's doing strength training, bodybuilding, and you like really like, I don't know, tennis. So don't do bodybuilding just because this is the foundation. Do the thing that you love because that's going to make you be consistent. If you enjoy bodybuilding, you're going to continue with it. If you like tennis, you're going to continue with it. So I think that's what's most important to discover. Go on like a 3-week fun discovery, try kickboxing, boxing, spinning, cycling, strength training, paddle tennis, whatever you like, basketball, ping pong, and just discover yourself through that and then decide what you want to do. Personally, I do really like strength training as a base always. Yani hatta law you do a different sport, I would still do like 2 to 3 days of strength training لأنه it does build a really good strong base for any sport. You will be better. Yeah, lifting weights. And you will be better at any sport that you choose to do just because you're giving your muscles the time and attention for conditioning. يعني حتى basketball players, you see that they do strength training, right? So they go and they lift weights. That's because it supports the muscle building. But my idea is don't do something that you don't enjoy because you're not going to stick to it. So do something that you enjoy.
I think it makes perfect sense. And just go out there, explore and do what works for you best.
Let us know what you do, Maher, in the next 2 weeks. I feel like you're on it.
هلا ماهر
I think I have my sport. يعني أنا أكتر شيء بلعب basketball.
Okay. Let's go.
By the way, I want to ask you a question. هلا خطر على بالي.
Yeah.
When I was going to the gym, في هيدا ثيوري انه لا ما بعمل ليج دي بلعب فيها سبور مزبوطه او لا؟
Of course not.
لا
guys come on. Like
football
your legs are some of the biggest muscles in the body.
I skip leg day a lot. I skip leg day.
It's very so my husband always tells me that this is very common among like Lebanese men, but maybe it's among a lot of people.
I think it's very common. People skip leg day لأن it doesn't.
Why?
It doesn't show.
Of course it shows.
بس انه it takes so much time to show the result.
Oh my god.
يعني to build the bicep, triceps, chest, okay?
Yeah.
And I think it's perceived at least that these muscles will grow faster. Will grow faster.
They're smaller.
They're smaller. That's why potentially it's easier to build them, maybe.
Got you. But like if you just do your leg day and not skip it, then you will see the results.
الحمد لله كنت ألعب فوتبول فماشي حال
and you can see the quad definition
بقولوا بساعد كمان لفوق.
calves. No,
بيساعد كل شيء definitely.
yeah, like your leg workouts are going to be the workouts that help you burn the most calories as well. So they help with fat burning, but also guys, it's your foundation. It's what you stand on all the time. You know what I mean? So very important.
What are like the most common questions you receive like as a dietitian? Maybe some funny, silly ones you receive often. بس هيك بتحسيون إنه they're repetitive عن جد. People want to know.
Yeah, I think how to lose belly fat is so common that I eventually created a course. لأنه it was like I get, let's say, 10 DMs, like 6 of them would be like, "Hi B, how do I lose belly fat?" So I just created a course for that. I think another one is kind of funny, silly to me is like. كيف فيني أضعف من مثلا بطني بس ما أضعف من خدودي. Like, I don't know if anyone's selling this diet, but I really hope they don't. أو إنه ما بدي أضعف من محل تاني. I don't want to lose weight from my boobs. I don't want to lose weight from my ass. You know, and I'm like, I don't like you can't choose where you lose weight from. It's always something I have to teach people on repeat. So I think that's a very common question.
What's your take on intermittent fasting?
Again, it's okay. So
to define it, if you want to define it first.
Right. Intermittent fasting is fasting for like 16 hours in the day. You get to choose which ones, and then you eat within an 8-hour window. You get to kind of choose which are the 8 hours. A lot of people used to choose like 12 to 8 or like 11 to 7 or 10 to 6, for example. Personally, I find it to be too restrictive for me. I really like my breakfast. I like my meals. I don't like to feel like في وقت ما فيني أكل فيه. I like to have the freedom to eat when I want what I want. When you give me a restriction, I'm going to feel like I'm missing out on something. And then as soon as I can eat again, I'm going to eat so much. So I think that if it works for you and you don't care, do it. But if you're someone who loves to eat breakfast, who loves to eat dinner and wants a little bit of leeway, then this is not going to be the diet for you. Also, a lot of studies showed that whether you do intermittent fasting or a calorie deficit, يعني you just reduce the amount of calories that you're eating.
Result.
The results are almost like for weight loss, the results are the same. But إنه في some benefits to intermittent fasting إنه you're not always putting food in your body. So the pancreas, the enzymes, the liver ما دايما عم بيشتغلوا all day and all night in case you're eating like around the clock and you're eating.
Which is good or bad?
You want them not to be working all the time. You want to give them a little bit of rest. But إنه 12-hour rest is more than enough. You know, you don't need to fast 16 hours. So let's say you stopped eating at 8 p.m. You know, you can start eating again at 8 a.m. if that's when you have breakfast. بس ما ضروري this. If you stopped eating at 8 p.m., you start eating at 12 p.m. the next day. I personally find that to be torture. So. And
how do you track your calories intake? قلتي لنجيب calorie deficit.
Yeah.
لا بحكي كلمة بدي أشوف كلمة بدي أكل بدي أفكر.
Like in the beginning, I get it. In the beginning, it's a little bit challenging because you're like, oh my God, كتير بدي أطلع. Exactly. But then you start knowing it because you don't eat that many different foods. Eventually you know. خلاص حيكونوا مثل بعض. It's just going to be like, I know how many calories it is. I know what this meal plan is. So you just have to put a little bit of effort in the beginning. بعدين بيمشي الحال. You can أول شيء look at the label. هيدا label, 1 container, 300 calories. You will know this has 300 calories. Okay. Another way you can do it is use apps like MyFitnessPal. You can scan the food that you're eating is عنده barcode and it can see how many calories is in it. Sometimes you can just put like, just for the sake of an example, McDonald's, just because it's common. So if you put like a McDonald's burger, it's going to calculate the calories for you because it's embedded in the system. So you can find these things, and other times you put an estimate. Let's say you made a pasta at home, like you just put like pasta, 2 cups, red sauce, بتركبها, and then you eventually get like an estimated calorie count. بتصير تعرف if you're in a deficit. بس بالأول you have to know what's your calorie intake. What's your calorie intake.
بس أنا آخر سؤال بركي قبل ما تفوت بهيدا. كيف نعرف قد إيه الواحد لازم ياخد calories?
Yeah. So you can, several ways. Body composition analysis can tell you if you do the machine. Another way is you can do there are many websites online. You put your weight, your height, your age, your activity factor. You will find out how many calories you burn. You subtract that by 500, you get the number. Okay, you can re-listen to this and then like do it.
Definitely we'll do it.
But I feel like, especially in this day and age, women like judge their body maybe more than they should to sometimes, and Walid, please intervene when you find it suitable. Sometimes we tend to tell them that maybe guys don't necessarily care as much, like for the main reasons they judge their body, or like maybe it's the way they see themselves. Where do you think this criticism comes from? I want to listen to your higher take on this.
Okay, 1 second. You mean guys, when you say guys don't care as much about her body or about their bodies?
Her body.
body.
The girl's body.
So she's being like very like aware and like cautious about how like she wants to physically look, but we tend to tell them like لا guys don't care as much على البنت.
Exactly. It's about you, how you perceive yourself. يعني لو شفنا بنت يعني سوبر ضعيفة اوكي بس منا واثقة من حالها انه عرفتي كيف
هذا هو التيرن اوف يمكن الاكثر
هيدا تيرن اوف اكثر لما يكون بنت انه تكون عادي عادي ما في شيء انه نحن بيرفكت بودي عرفتي وفولي كونفيدنت it would be better. فانه من وين جاي هالمسكونسبشن البنات لازم يكون عندهم نو belly fat و هال perfect body quote unquote.
Well, first, Maher, I have to correct you on something, that oftentimes women don't do this for the pleasure of men or because men need to find them to be suitable. يعني is
أكيد.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're, because you know, I don't care that you have a little bit of belly fat doesn't mean that she's going to be okay with that. I know she's doing that for herself. So that's number one. Number two, I think there's a lot that's affected and brought women to where they are today. And I also want to add one thing before I forget, is that there are a lot of men who really do care as well. There is body dysmorphia among men. And it's very, very big, even particularly actually among men that are gym goers. لأنه they're always at the gym and they see it. It's like there's this thing that they say. It's like once a man, like once you're step foot in the gym, you're never big enough anymore. بيصيروا معاد بحسوا حالهم they're growing. So 100%. You just so there is that dysmorphia with men as well. But yeah, I guess we hear it a little bit more with women, and I think it's for several reasons. One, media over time, magazines, ads, the things we saw in the 90s, the things we saw in the 80s, you know, of like that figure and how the way the woman is supposed to look, that little teeny weeny bikini and get ready for summer, get your six-pack abs. Those become ingrained in women's minds. And then there just becomes a shape or a figure that becomes so highlighted, right? Like I don't know, like, okay, definitely not the person we want to talk about, but like Kim Kardashian, let's say. You see the figure, you know what it's supposed to look like. So then people start to think that that's the norm, unfortunately. And people idolize it and they start wanting, this is it. This is what you want to become. But a lot of it, it's not even realistic. It's not even possible. A lot of it is plastic surgery. A lot of it is not, you know, it's not normal human stuff. And I wanted to say one more thing about this. It slipped my mind, but it's very unfortunate, to be honest. It really saddens me that we're growing in a culture that's like this. And I can't wait for us to just go after health, strength, confidence, feeling good, acceptance, rather than looking and fitting in like a little squared
أكيد. And that's what we support as well. نحن بالآخر الواحد, as you mentioned, to be self-acceptance of himself, of herself, and that's the most important thing.
وسنس عم نحكي عن هالموضوع كان بدي أسألك براء إنه what would one advice be for anyone, whether a man or a woman, to actually like pursue this, I don't know, good fitness, good health, good self-esteem? What do you advise them?
I think step away from perfectionism and focus on progress. So don't try to be perfect at everything. Don't try to go to the gym 6 days a week, every single week. And then if you don't go one day, khalas, everything is slipped up. Don't feel like your diet needs to be perfect. Focus on the progress of your diet. You're eating more veggies. You ate salmon and avocado today, for example. Don't focus that you ate a burger yesterday, you know, and let that define everything. So don't focus on perfectionism. Focus on progress in anything that you do. And then you will see that how consistent you can be throughout moving forward.
And what's Baraa's future plans? Anything in mind? We know what you're doing now. What might you do later?
I think I want to create a product later. I have literally no plans for what it is, but like I think that's a little bit of an exciting thing, like a food product per se.
I mean, supplement?
I love food. Maybe not a supplement. No.
Did you
Something good. Something good.
Looking forward.
Did you disclose this information on anywhere else?
No, you exclusive on Higher Take.
يعني براء نحن كنا حابين نطولها بعد أكتر الابيسود في كتير مواضيع فينا نحكيكي فيهم. بعد عنا short 2-3 minutes trivia حتاخد كتير من وقتي.
Our second.
I'm sure إذا في شيء الأودينس كمان على فكرة اليوم ما قلنا لهم to subscribe بعد.
ما قلنا خلص خلص. هلا مع براء بنعمل وحدة بالآخر. We'll make sure كمان to plug your podcast or any other.
Your podcast, your Instagram handle as well. فالتريفيا هيك general questions, fun questions. أول وحدة, what is the tallest breed dog in the world?
I don't know. Is it a Dalmatian?
It's close. The Great Dane.
Yes. It looks like it kind of.
It looks like.
هلا بنقرر كم بوينت بعدين.
خلاص بنرجع بنشوف كم points وبنحط lead board afterwards. The second question, what is the world's biggest island?
Come on. I don't know. I know that I don't know.
You can.
Is it with an A?
No.
Is it with an H?
No. Is it Greenland
close.
or Iceland? Iceland.
Iceland?
لا Greenland.
We will try to give you options and this is something that we will try to integrate also later on. صراحة كان هادي أول واحد وأنت تاني واحدة وبدنا نحسنها يعني later on it was
We're really taking
هلا شوي bro.
You guys are taking
an experiment.
لأن حيصير في like a 4 multiple choice with a timer.
I need my husband with me on this. Okay, go.
تاني مرة بتجيبيه معك أهلا وسهلا. The third question, what is the smallest ocean in the world?
I really don't know, guys. I really suck at this stuff.
You don't know the oceans?
I do know the ocean.
How many oceans? How many oceans do you know?
Tell me the options.
I think I'll tell you 4 options. Okay. Pacific, Indian, Arctic, and there's one.
I think Indian. Is it Indian?
It's Arctic.
It's Arctic.
خلينا نشوف هلا.
This is hard, guys.
على فكرة دائما أنا وقت النقل عندي التريفيا it's an easy one.
There's you too. Okay.
بعد في 3.
What color eyes do most humans have?
Brown.
نحن كلنا بالأوضة شو عنا بس أنت.
He has colored eyes, so it's very I'm like I don't know.
طيب اللي بعده. What's the name of the Earth's largest ocean?
يا حرام هون.
لكن اليوم برعاية Oceans Trivia 100%.
برافو هاي 2 bro.
إذا بدك خلص في كفي معي. 3 points. And the last question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
هذا شيء خاص بالسبورتس شوي. خلينا نشوف. When Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls, how many NBA championships did he win? It's an easy one.
لا برو ايزي حسب اذا بتحضر باسكت ولا لا.
انا بحس حجيب.
انت بدك نعطيك اوبشنز. حنعطيك اوبشنز. حنعطيك اوبشنز 4 5 6 7 حنعطيك
4 5 6 7
4 5 6 7
نعطيك 2
6
Yes.
Baraa, thank you.
Walid, you need to work on your questions, my dear.
هذه قال لي اطلع برا.
قال لي اطلع برا سألته عن الشولس. Baraa, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise, thank you guys. This was so fun.
Thank you.
Same here. We were so happy to have you on. Hopefully, maybe in the future we can collab and
For sure.
It has been
Loved
amazing.
it.
Thank you كتير
so
Baraa.
much.
Thank you so much. انبسطنا كتير. Thanks you Shai.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Peace.
Sorry.